What's going on, guys? Brian back here, and as you can see, I got the GTS behind me. I wanted to make a quick video on how to do the EVENTURI intakes. I don't think there's a video on that. I mean, there's a lot of people that make them or that do the install on YouTube, but they don't really explain how to do it. They just kind of show themselves doing it, and like it's just kind of like sped forward. But I mean, I already have them installed. I actually did this when I first bought the car. It's like one of the first mods I did, but I wanted to go back because it's a very easy mod to install and to replace. Right here, I got the OEM right here, and using this, I'll explain how to take them off. Pretty much, I mean, I'll give you a closer look here in a few minutes, but there's pretty much just a clamp that goes right here, and then there's usually like a metal ring inside, because when the clamp compresses right here on the turbo, because there's a turbo, and then there's like a sleeve that goes over the turbo, and then the sleeve goes on top of here, and then there's a ring in here that would when you clamp down, the clamp has somewhere to grab. So don't lose that. I mean, the EVENTURI comes with them, but if you ever want to put these back, you definitely need those. And yeah, you pretty much just undo that clamp, which is literally just one bolt that just goes through. It's just pretty much just a clamp, honestly. You undo that, and then you have some play in this X section right here. And like I said, I will explain everything closer, in more detail once we actually get a closer look in here. But other than that, you have the connections for your blow-off valves. These recirculate in the system, so they don't blow off to atmosphere. In mine, they do. I bought the kit for that. You don't have to do any of these screws. Pretty much, you only need to worry about this section right here, which is the MAF sensor. And other than that, man, I mean, they just sit. There's these bolts that sit underneath, and it's pretty much got like a round head on it that just pops in there. So once you get this loose right here, just be very careful with this MAF sensor. Undo that, and then undo the clamps right here, and then I'll show you what this looks like in the car. And then you just literally pull this up and out, because this will be sitting in this little cavity underneath, like towards the front bumper, because it pulls air from like the front grille. So yeah, let's get a closer look, and then we can see how that looks in the car. All right, guys, so here's a little close-up of the EVENTURI intakes. I'll pull this cover off just by popping this off. And as you can see, just some tabs right here. And the original, the OEM one is exactly the same. You just pop it off. Let me put this off to the side. Make sure that shit doesn't fall. So here what we're looking at is the coolant, the reservoirs, and these are the clamps I'm referring to. Let me get you a closer look here. These are the clamps right here. This clamp goes into the this slot right here. So EVENTURI obviously comes with new clamps. You remove the old ones, you install the new ones. You won't have this here because this is the blow-off valve itself, but you will have this back section right here. And I mean, it's pretty much, this is just pretty much a male to female. So, I mean, this will be directly connected to this piece right here. So you'll undo this clamp, and then you might want to undo this if you want to use the new tubes that come with it. And other than that, you got to put the MAF sensors on the EVENTURI, because these come in pieces. This will be one piece. This will be another. This honestly just sits in that little cubby hole right here. And there's some standoffs on the bottom that you got to mount to the, you got to remove the original like bolts that hold up the OEM intakes. Remember how I told you that they pretty much just sit in there, they pop in there. It's nothing permanent. So once you pop the old intakes out, you're going to see that there's pretty much the bolts, and then underneath there's like this hex part where you could put a wrench on it and just unscrew it from the actual body of the vehicle. So just do that, and then install the new hardware that comes with it, which will be a replacement for that. And then it gives these new intakes somewhere to sit. That way they're, you know, they're pretty sturdy. And so the MAP sensors go back here. I'm trying to see if you can get a better look here. They go right there, right here. Yeah, sorry for the quality, but it goes right there, and then it just pops in there. It's a snug fit. You actually go in there, and then you turn it. I believe it's clockwise, and then it just sits in there, and then you just connect the connector, the OEM connector. It reuses all that. And then just pretty much repeat, rinse and repeat on the other side. Like I said, there's some, see that screw right there? Though that's part of the plate that holds it's just a bracket that holds up the the intakes. And this just sits flush on there. It creates a seal right here. So these two pieces are not really together, like hardwired together. They're not like a one solid piece. This breaks apart, and there's just this rubber seal that runs along here. So if I were to undo this clamp right here, this is the clamp that it's reused from the original one. And I forget what size these are, but you loosen these up and this section just pops out. But if I do that and then I undo this right here and then the MAP sensor, this whole section just pops out. Like, this has nothing to do with this. And other than that, I mean, honestly, it only took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours, like just figuring it out from the manual. So if I could do that, I mean, you could definitely do it. They also give you these rubber seals right here so it won't damage the carbon fiber. I obviously opted in for the matte carbon, because one thing I will say, the matte carbon will not yellow. If you get glossy, it will yellow with the heat of the engine bay. For example, I got matte on this turbo cover over here, and even though I got matte, there's so much heat that yellowed it regardless. But I've met people that had glossy carbon intakes from like Zach Motorsports or whatever, and they're clear coating with yellow rather quickly, actually. So I'd recommend you guys, get the matte one. And if you ever get a carbon hood, they actually have the underside is the underside of the hood tends to be matte carbon for that same reason. And then if you want glossy, it's going to be on the exterior, not the interior. But other than that, there's no really any hardships I encountered while doing this. One thing is just make sure you don't drop any screws or bolts. You're going to have the worst time trying to pick it up. I personally dropped like 2 of them. Luckily, I had spares of my own just laying around that would fit the thread, and it was the same kind of bolt. It was just hex. So I was able to replace them, but I had a lot of them drop like right here, or like really right next to the intercoolers. And I just never got it back. I mean, I just left it as is. I didn't have anything to reach that far out. And it was a very awkward place. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, stick around to the end of the video. I'm actually going to give you a cold start. So you want to hear what it sounds like. I don't know if you saw my previous video, but I actually made a video or kind of an explanation video on how to do the that catback system over there. That's the OEM. I installed a custom 3-inch catback with a valve delete and a muffler delete. So yeah, stick around if you want to hear that. And I also did my own catless custom downpipes. It's a 3.5-inch downpipes, a 3-inch. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any other questions and any concerns or anything, let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I'll be doing more mods. I got a lot more mods coming in for this car. So I know this is a special edition car, so I don't want to do too much. But engine wise, I do want to build it up. I'm aiming for like 700 or 800 wheel. So stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see some more. Anyways, till next time, guys. Peace.